Alrighty. Howdy neighbors and welcome back to Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Justice for All. Last time, Adrian finally took the stand. And Edgeworth is on one, so here we go. Yes, Your Honor. Witness testimony of the Couture case. I don't remember too clearly because I was a bit dazed. I suppose I could have opened the guitar case after I knocked the vase over. Not a big deal though, right? And the case was empty after all. That's why I opened it, even I don't know. It really wasn't a very important point. The wastefulness is such a familiar feeling, but I know that's almost comforting. Anyway, I'll just go ahead and start the cross-examination. Using any way to change the topic. A convenient escape for a weak man. The guitar case. Yeah, that one doesn't matter. It's important. I didn't mean to do that. You open the guitar case then. Yes. Oh, maybe. Did you open the guitar case? Rita's dead body was right in front of you, wasn't it? Why would you... I would think the first thing you would do is call for help, not open the guitar case. As the witness said multiple times she found the dead body. He was dazed. Maybe I was curious to know if the bright red guitar was alright or not. I thought maybe the criminal took it. Did she care about the bright red guitar? But getting back on topic. Give me you.
Objection!
There was no way that you were the one who opened the guitar case. Why would you say that? Elementary, my dear. Thanks, Sherlock. The only fingerprints in the guitar case were those of the victim. Oh. What is it, Miss Andrews? You shouldn't assume that I have prints just because I touched the case. What do you mean? What if I were to tell you I was wearing gloves at the time? Gloves? Why would you be wearing gloves at the time? Why are you doing this? It was the night of the awards ceremony. So of course I dressed up for the occasion. Yeah, and I remember. Oh sure, I was wearing a pair of thin gloves. Let's see. Well, Mr. Wright, I think the witness was wearing gloves at the scene of the crime. That's weird. That's weird. Wearing gloves? Isn't that a little strange? That's weird. Why is this strange? Do you have something that would prove that I was not wearing gloves? The freaking glass! Come on! Freaking elementary. I have proof right here. This wine glass. The wine glass? You left your fingerprints very clearly on the wine glass. Oh. Even if you took the gloves off when you poured yourself a glass of juice, don't you think it was just a little strange? Now you put your gloves back on, just open a guitar case. That was really funny. I am highly amused. Did everyone see that? Her glasses broke and she just had a new pair out the ready. I'm dead. That was really funny. Order, order, order. Order, order, order. Looks like you hit the nail on the head this time. What do you mean? Probably because Edgeworth is over there sweating. Oh, the guitar case plays a very important role here. This is an empty case. I wonder if it really was empty, though. You beheld a dead body. The guitar. Private guitar was at the studio. Okay, next up, all your presumptions. What in the guitar case is not a bright red guitar? I mean, it was a white guitar. Wait, that's not right either. I mean, it would be unnatural for someone to do that. No witness. So the witness was not wearing gloves, with the fact that the case. Your Honor, it is obvious the defense's usual misdirection tactic at work. Steering the court toward an unrelated topic and lull us all into his misguided. You look pissed! No, Your Honor. Please recall that Miss Andrews had testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case. Which means that the case was closed at the time when the crime took place. However, it is wide open in the photo of the crime scene. I'm sure that this guitar case is related to the murder. Are you so sure, right? Then I'm sure you could somehow substitute your outrageous claim, correct? Please enlighten us as to why the guitar case has anything to do at all with this murder. Can you do that, Mr. Wright? Well, let's suppose for a second. The bright red guitar was not the only thing that could have been the case. The bright red guitar not being the only thing. It was just the bright black guitar that... So you intend to push your theory that the case is not empty? Is that it, right? I won't say something if I didn't intend to prove it, even though I'd have done that several times. Deflate that head of yours. You haven't proven anything yet. Now then, let's have it. Was that the case at the time of the murder? Oh, I don't know. I don't know what could have been in there. I'm gonna go with this and then get it wrong. Take that! Take that. Shut up. Look at this photograph. Yeah, what's important is what's in the picture, Your Honor. In the picture. It doesn't take a genius to see what I mean. What I'm proposing is... It said the guitar case was the Nickel Samurai. The hero's very own costume. What? Mr. Wright, explain yourself. Right, I assume the witness opened the guitar case, take out a costume. What an insane point would there be to do something like that? The main point would be to wear the costume, of course. Miss Andrews put it on to hide her identity. She can make her escape. After all, you couldn't let anyone see you leave, could you, Miss Andrews? I refuse to accept your theory. Do you have anything to support such a preposterous idea? Just outside the door was an investigative photographer who was starving for a big scoop. In the end, she managed to get her shot, correct? You mean this photo? Order, order! We've been running into quite another mess again, haven't we? Nice job, Phoenix. Nice job! Wasting more time! I know a strategy. Think first, think later. And so the real murderer was hiding inside of the costume. Wait a second, Your Honor. The Nickel Samurai's costume would have been Mr. Matt Onguard's. Why would something with the defendant be in the victim's room? And inside the guitar case of all places. True, is a little baffling. Mr. Wright, I would like to hear your thoughts. Little samurai costume doing something to our case. This is your costume. Mr. Arnred did not take his costume off during the break period. In that case, the costume we are talking about was a spare one. What? Didn't even say that on the night of the murder. There were 2 nickel samurai costumes in the Game Water Hotel. Why is this a shock? Why do people not think to carry spare clothes? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I had to explain the costumes inside the tour case. It would mean that the victim himself had brought this spare to the ceremony on purpose. But why? The victim, Mr. Korida, was the Jammin' Ninja. But why would he secretly bring the Nickel Samurai spare costume with him? What would be the reason behind such a peculiar act? And therein lies the sticking point.
Objection!
What are you mumbling to yourself about now? Have you just been rambling all this time without any sense of inner monologue? Nah, just... Mr. Wright, please explain yourself. Why do you think the victim had the Nickel Samurai spare costume? He didn't know about the press conference, did he? Ooh. Ooh. I think I know. Ring-a-ding-ding. I theorize a thing. I think that he was like, let me do a press conference to be like, I'm the Nickel Samurai instead. And then, bam! A lie. Phoenix, are you sure you can explain this one? Think carefully before you answer. Then answer with gusto. I believe in you. That's what I think. Then the victim brought this for costume. This press conference. Bam! Dang it. What is this? Joe? On the night of the murder, after the stage show, the Nickel Samurai was going to hold a special press conference. Press conference? Yeah, the Nickel Samurai was supposed to confess something at this conference. I heard about this as well. For once, you're not making something up. But what struck me as strange was that Mr. OnGuard himself said he had no idea he was supposed to be holding a press conference that night. But how could that be? The way I see it, it can mean only one thing. The conference was set up by none other than the victim, Mr. Juan Corrida himself. The victim? Yeah. His spare Nickel Samurai costume was prepared for that very conference. Corrida was going to hold a press conference as the Nickel Samurai. He was going to dress up as the Nickel Samurai and hold a conference. But why would the victim do such a thing? That's something I don't quite know yet. However, what I am concerned with right now is what he intended to reveal at the press conference. Nickel Samurai was going to confess something. And by confess, I'd wager he was going to reveal something about himself. Which means that Juan Corrida, posing as the Nickel Samurai, is going to speak about Matt OnGuard. Yes, I guess that's what it would mean. But if that's the case, that's not a confession. That is public disclosure. Mr. Andrews, I can see. Well, you're pros at what you do. Pardon me? Yeah, just as you say, the press conference was set up by Juan. I would be doing the push-pushes too. Mr. Andrews, please offer us an explanation for this. I was the one who asked. He asked to help set it up. And the person who prepared the second costume for him was also me. Ew. Juan had bet everything on the Jammin' Ninja this year. And if he lost the Grand Prix, he was gonna make sure Matt is going down with him. That's what he thought anyway. He was gonna ruin him, huh? It looked like somehow one had in his head a secret so powerful it would destroy Matt's acting career that had been revealed. What? Do you know what the secret of Mr. Ongar's is, Miss Andrews? That's something only one knew. I don't know what it is. I see. Me too, Edgeworth. Me too. I've probably been coming off quite suspicious to everyone. But that's to be expected. I've been trying to protect Matt after all. Protect Mr. Onguard. And yet again, another strange bit of truth comes to light, it seems. Miss Andrews, if you could, please tell us the truth about your behavior. Yes, Your Honor, I understand. Witness testimony, protecting Matt. Good God, we're still... I feel like we've been doing this for an hour. From the moment I saw the crime scene, I had a feeling that Matt was the murderer. Matt had to kill one no matter what. And he didn't have an alibi for what he was doing at the time of the murder. My thoughts were confirmed by the evidence, of course, the button and the knife. But I'm Matt's manager, so I felt I had to protect him. It doesn't count for everything. This judge is fucking useless. Well, I am the logical type. When you feel like it. Finally seeing your true self. More nervous than a scared rabbit. If the defense can find no fault in the testimony, I am ready to make a ruling. Please keep that in mind as you cross again, Mr. Wright. It's like somehow everything has swung the opposite end of the scale again. I just put my weight into this, turn the logic upside down. Protecting Matt. She didn't know until right now. I'm trying to pull the knife. That's the evidence. Who would tell the knife? Could very well be a clever camouflage. And then what about the button? Button? It's clear from the crime scene that the victim and the murderer fought. And during the fight, the killer ripped the button, jamming Ninja's costume. That's weird. I kinda don't like that. Talking about this button, correct? How would you do that? That button was found to plead to Matt Akama, isn't that correct? I would think it makes a very decisive evidence. Look, you were a fox again, Mr. Wright. Anyway, then I've just everything. Let's fix your testimony. I can't stay on the side of a man who can't gracefully accept his defeat. Take it as me, still look at me. An icy stare, yes. Andrews, Mr. Wright, say, please add this information to your testimony. One was sworn off for wandering the fire with Matt. How was he killed? I feel like we need more about him, but I don't know where to put it. Wait! He was strangled! Hold on! Get Ben! I couldn't read! This is the victim's autopsy report. It states that the cause of death was strangulation by a scarf. Strangulation? The knife stab at the victim was done after the victim had already died. And what does that mean? Let's examine the evidence. This button was in the victim's blood. The victim's blood on it, which means that it was ripped off the costume when? After the knife was stabbed into the victim. Exactly. Which means? Also, for the button to be torn off during the victim's final struggle. The victim was strangled to death in the fight. Oh. That's right, Miss Andrews. No way this button was ripped off during the struggle. This button was conclusively pulled off the victim's body, but the victim's already dead body. Order. What's the meaning? What is the meaning of this, right? So what if the button was torn from the body after the victim had already died? What does that change? Let me ask one simple question, Miss Edward. Why was the button torn off? What purpose did it serve? What purpose? We know that this button was not torn off during the fight. The murderer took the time and effort to purposefully rip this from the victim's body. That would mean that the murderer had something in mind, wouldn't it? Mr. Wright, does that mean? I mean, you know what the murderer wanted with the button. What was it? To pin the crime. I need the judge to do some of his own thinking. I need him to get a brain cell at some point. There's only one logical reason for doing something like that. Pin the crime on Mr. OnGuard. There's no way anyone could put a bloodied button on their own pants. Right. Mr. OnGuard was set up. A serial killer, of course. And the real murderer is? Well, Mr. Wright, who in the world is the real killer? Finally, we managed to bring this trial all the way up to this point. Phoenix, you can't let your guard down yet. Until the very end. The victim who planned for Mr. OnGuard is the killer. I don't think... Now that we're doing this trial, I don't think it was Adrian. But I might as well, because that's what we're doing right now. Miss Adrian Andrews. I choose you, Pikachu. You're Mr. Kurita's killer. Order. You're right. It's a very grave matter. You have the evidence to push your charge. We're done. Any evidence? All the evidence points to Miss Andrews. And how preposterous. You can't stick any of it on me. I can't, can I? But you could test me. And what about this knife? The knife was used to stab the victim after he already had been strangled to death. It was used suspicion on guard naturally. The knife covered in the defendant's fingerprints could only be taken from his room. And the only one who had dinner with him and knew which knife to take was you. Yeah, just another pair right there. Oh, what about the button that was found in that combo? Without it. Well, it was removed from the victim's body after it was already dead. Only people who could have done it with the person who found his body as the killer. or Mr. Onguard was the real killer. There's no way he would have put such incriminating evidence on his own comma. It is so funny. The only person who could have put the button on the Onguard's comma is the person who went to wake him from his nap. It is you yet again, Miss Andrews. Let's see, what's in the guitar case? Here's another piece of evidence that incriminates Miss Andrews. The real costume. Oh, that costume was used to hide the real killer's identity as they fled the scene of the crime. Now, who could have known that there was such a costume inside the guitar case? It could only have been the person who prepared the costume for the victim. And that person is you, Miss Adrian Andrews. Miss Andrews' fingerprints were nowhere to be found in the guitar case. And it was you that proved that she was not wearing gloves at the time. That's right. Because she didn't intend to leave any prints. If anyone had found out she touched the case, it would have asked her why. To avoid leaving any prints, she used a towel or something to open it. But the glass of tomatoes used a different story. They forcefully left the fingerprints on the glass to show that yes, indeed. She was the classic day's discoverer of the dead body. And that all along, there's this photo. Photo of the killer as they exited the scene of the crime. No reasonable person on earth would believe this nickel samurai is Mr. Onguard. It would be much too short for his own costume if that were him. And how tall people are. Miss Andrews, you're also kind of short in stature, are you not? Please stop. How about it, Miss Andrews? Out of this time. Miss Andrews? I refuse to testify. What was that? We could just do that? There is a law. It says I cannot be forced to testify about something if it can incriminate me. Well, yes. You're absolutely correct, Miss Andrews. The law does provide us with a way to avoid self-incrimination. By allowing a witness to not testify, the testimony can cause damage to themselves. What? Getting the fifth is not something most people would think to do on the spot. Actually, thinking back to yesterday in Mr. Onguard's room. Adrian Andrews. Yes. Think hard about what we just discussed. Understood. Alright. That's it. That's when Francisca planted this idea in her head. You must have told Miss Andrews to not testify if things look bad. You're doing a good job proving everything up to this point, Phoenix. There's still one thing you haven't done. Something I haven't done. Beckon proved it. Oh, what's wrong, right? Are you finished already? One out of advice. So humorous, Mr. Edgeworth. I'm sure you realize this as well, Your Honor. But everything the good lawyer here has proven up to this point is meaningless. Huh? Everything you have proven is circumstantial. Circumstantial? There's a full dead man, and he's talking about circumstance? Yes, circumstantial. You have yet to provide a single piece of definitive proof. Alright, that's fair. Proof that Miss Andrews did, in fact, harbor a wish to murder Mr. Corrida. He's telling us to bring up... God. Andrews, did you want to kill Mr. Kurita? I believe this may lead me to incriminate myself, so I will abstain from answering. But, Miss Andrews, if you don't do that, it's always admitting your own guilt, don't you think? Maybe so, or maybe not. There's nothing to prove it either way. Besides, you don't even know what crime I would be guilty of due to my silence. No. Taking that defiant attitude again. Mia, what should we do? Somehow we've landed in the worst possible situation. I think we've reached a certain conclusion at this point. The June anxious choose to testify. And the defense's theory that she's the actual murderer is not but police, substituted with solid, definitive proof. But that's not true. In this situation, there's only one thing this court could do. And that's to declare a recess. Recess? Of course, both the prosecution and the defense look further into the matter. And at tomorrow's trial... Tomorrow?! I don't have a tomorrow! We don't get not guilty verdict today, then. Please wait, Your Honor. That's not necessary. The trial, please continue the trial. What are you sweating for? The client is getting one more day to live, isn't he? That's not it. That isn't about it. Edward, I know you know who the real killer is. Please let the trial continue. Look at the verdict, Maya. But it's possible to continue as long as the witness refuses to testify. Now this court is... That is what I'm saying! That is what I am saying. He knows that something is up. He knows! That's why he's the man. That's why he goes Edgewood. It is not impossible for the trial to continue. Edgewood, what are you... It's true, Miss Andrews holds the right against self-incrimination. However, if the topic of conversation is something unrelated to whatever she may be guilty of, then she has no right to withhold testimony. Yeah, that's very true, but actually, there's one little thing that I'm curious about. Miss Andrews. When you found the victim's dead body, you poured yourself a glass of juice. Yes, and I can't help but think how unnatural that is. Thank you, Edgeworth. Ba-ba-dum-ba-ba-ba-bum. Usually when one finds a body, they are shaken up, not stirring a glass of juice. So my actions were unusual, but I've already... Before you speak, I want you to state that if you have a reason behind your actions, I would like you to testify to that effect. Testify? Your Honor, I would like to request that the victim testify again as to what happened when she first discovered the victim's body. Oh, Edgeworth, my man! Whatever we find out in this testimony should in no way implicate the witness. I don't know what it is about Edgeworth today, but I can't get a good read off him. Is he a friend or a foe? I just don't know. The court acknowledges the prosecution's request. Miss Andrews, if you please. Her testimony when I found the body. A glass of juice. I had really poured for myself. I was surprised when I walked into the room and saw it in a messy state. And while he was sitting in some girlfriend tired looking in the corner. When I saw him sitting like that, I thought he was... The thought that he was dead didn't cross my mind. To be honest, I thought he just fainted or something. So I went to pour him some juice. When I realized that he was dead, that's when I knocked the flower vase over. So you poured that glass of juice for the victim. Why didn't you say so in your earlier testimony? I didn't think I needed to include something so trivial. Phoenix, please be careful here. I can't find anything wrong with the testimony. There's nothing left. I know. What the heck is going on in that brain of yours? Now then, Mr. Ryan, you may begin your cross-examination. I so will not. I will instead end the episode here. I do thank you for the opportunity. However, I must be on my way. So thank you very much for watching, and hopefully, I will see you later.